When you hear addiction, why are you only thinking substance abuse? You realize that there's more to addiction than that, right? Hi, ladies, how are you all doing? My name is Remy, and I am an unburdening and identity restoration specialist based in the United Kingdom. When it comes to addiction, addiction really varies from sugar, caffeine, gambling, substance abuse, sex, alcohol, just to mention a few. And the thing is, a lot of people are actually suffering from addiction and just do not know it. Why? Because it's not substance. Do you get what I mean? Or it's not something that is very obvious that makes them look haggard. Or another thing I find is the fact that you have the money to maintain that addiction makes you believe that you're good. Today, I want to really focus on addictions that are not so obvious, addictions that are not substance abuse and things like that. So, I want to talk about very common things that it's possible that you're addicted to and probably give you strategies on how to overcome addiction. So, one very common thing I have found based on my experiences, a lot of women have fallen into this trap of addiction via looking for a coping mechanism. So, it could be that you're looking for some kind of stress relief and you find yourself just wanting to use this thing once, and then voila, it's something that you cannot do without. So, let's give an example: caffeine. Some people actually got into this caffeine addiction because they are stressed. So you have people who cannot do without taking a cup of coffee every morning. Why? Because they really need it to get through the day. For some people, they actually take caffeine tablets or paracetamol because probably they're doing a very tedious job, something that requires a lot of energy. And now they're in a place where even though they're no longer in that kind of workspace where they actually need to take the paracetamol or the caffeine, they don't know how to stop it. I know people who have taken paracetamol with caffeine for so long, and now they get very constant headaches, and the only thing that will cure that headache is paracetamol with caffeine. So their system has kind of gotten used to being fed with caffeine. And the question is, how do we stop this? Now, another addiction I find is alcohol. And again, a lot of people fell into this addiction because they were looking for a coping mechanism. And for some people, it's a thing of, well, I don't take it every day. I only take it when I'm stressed. But my question to you is, have you tried not taking the alcohol when you're stressed? If yes, how did that go? If no, I need you to try and see if truly it isn't an addiction. Now, the thing is, a lot of these things often start off as it's nothing major, it's just something little: alcohol, sugar, whatever it is that you're dealing with. And you see, it's only a matter of time until you begin to take it every single day. Alcohol, sugar. For example, with sugar, it can come in various forms. It could be gummy bears. Like myself, I was really in that space where I was addicted to sugar for years and I didn't realize. It was so bad that if I didn't take sugar in form of gummy bear or some sort of soda, I wouldn't be able to work or sleep. I would just find myself being restless. And it was so bad that I was willing to actually step out at 12 midnight just to buy gummy, just to buy something to keep me going. And you see, I didn't even realize how bad it was. Why? Because it wasn't affecting me physically. I looked okay. Again, it wasn't substance abuse. But the truth is, it is still addiction and you need to deal with it. So the question is, Remy, if I'm addicted to something, I find myself being addicted to something, how do I deal with it? Point number one or tip number one is you need to acknowledge it. Acknowledge that, you know what, I am addicted to this thing and I need help. Don't be in denial. Don't start making excuses of, I don't do it often. I just do it once. It's not that big a deal. You know it's a big deal. So acknowledge it, because acknowledgement is the first step towards really achieving healing. Number two, get an accountability partner. This is so important because you must understand that addiction is not an easy thing to drop. You need an accountability partner who is strong, who is spiritual as well. That is, when I say spiritual, I mean someone who is prayerful. So this person knows you're dealing with this. This person knows that you're trying to get help. But aside from keeping you accountable and stopping you from, having a relapse, this person is also able to pray for you and pray with you. This is so important. Number three, be ready to change. You see, one thing I say to people when they come for counseling or therapy with me is, you see, you need to understand that it's a two-way street. For in order for you to see any change, you must also be ready to put in the work. It's not enough that someone says stop something. What will make it really work is you understanding that you need to stop. And although you're struggling, you're giving it your best. So you need to be ready to change. Number four, I know I spoke about accountability, but you see, when it comes to getting help, it's important that you know the kind of help that you need to get. For some people, an accountability partner is okay. For some people, you actually need to go further and probably see a counselor, a therapist, or to see a doctor. So it's important that you know where you are. How bad is this addiction? And what kind of help do I really need? Fifth and final point on this is pray. You see, you must understand that everything is spiritual. Before you see any physical manifestation, everything has happened in the spiritual realm. Now, one thing I say to my clients is this: if it was that easy to drop, you won't be here. If it was that easy to drop, you would have dropped it. So it shows that there is something greater, there is a greater force behind this thing you're struggling with. So instead of us just speaking and just bringing up so many strategies, it's important that you balance spiritual strategies with physical strategies. This way, your healing is secure, your healing is permanent. Now let's move on to the other side of this. So, what happens if you are not the one that is addicted, but you know someone who is struggling with addiction? It might be a family member, it might be a friend, it might be your husband, it might be your wife. How do you truly help this person? Number one, don't be judgmental. Okay? You must avoid blaming. You must avoid criticizing. Bring in empathy when you're trying to help this person. Remember that pointing fingers at this person and just, reminding them of their issue is not going to help them. They know they have a problem. They know they need help. All they need is some sort of support. Number two, I know you love them. I know they mean so much to you, but please do not enable this addiction. And what do I mean? So, for example, this person is addicted to sugar. Don't go visiting and then buy sugar or gummy bears or something like sodas. Okay? Ensure that when you're seeing them, when you're with them, anything that will make them trying to get out of this addiction more difficult, avoid it, even if they try to blackmail you. Yes, by saying, oh, but I've done it for so long, I've tried for so long, I've not taken sugar for 10 days, just a little bit won't hurt. Don't enable them. Stand your ground and refuse to do this. Number three, be their chief encourager. What do I mean? Encourage them through prayer, encourage them through kind words, encourage them to seek professional help if you see that this is what they need. Nothing beats having an amazing support system around you when you're going through a difficult time. So be that person. Number four, I need you to be patient. You see, you must understand that people often say time heals wounds, time will heal a lot of things. Yes, but it's not just the time, it's being intentional within that time frame. It's been intentional with the time you have. This is what actually plays a huge role in the healing. You need to be patient. You must understand that this addiction didn't just come upon them. They've probably struggled with it for years. Don't expect them to drop it off in a minute. Give them time. Number five, which is the last tip I'm going to be giving you based on how to help, is you need to stay educated. You need to understand exactly what you're dealing with in order to be able to help this person effectively. Educate yourself about addiction. What are the recovery techniques? What happens when they're having a relapse? What are the available resources? These are things you need to educate yourself on. Don't just throw yourself into it because, again, addiction is not as easy as it looks. It's easy for people to point fingers and say, why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that. But this is why I'm sharing this video so that we can educate ourselves. It's no longer okay that we say, well, I didn't know. Ignorance is the main killer. It's important that we educate, enlighten ourselves, open ourselves up to the reality of the world we're living in right now. On a final note, everyone's journey through recovery to recovery is unique. Please understand that comparing will not do any good. Keep praying and help in the capacity that the Lord enables you to. And if you are dealing with addiction or you do know someone that is dealing with addiction, I pray for you that as difficult as it may seem, the Lord will help you. He will hold your hand through this difficult season and you'll come out stronger and victorious. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I really do hope you've learned a thing or two. If this is the case, please be kind enough to subscribe, share, and leave a comment. And I'll see you at the next one. Bye bye.